Akshata's recipes. Hope all of you are doing well. So today I have got with me some kairis or raw mangoes, and these are the really baby ones, which hardly have any seed in them also. So I'm going to make Chepnim, which is basically mangoes in brine, and it is really delicious. It does take a little longer time than the regular mango recipe, but mango pickle recipe, but this is really nice, and it doesn't have any masalas in it, it doesn't have any oil in it, and it is super delicious. This goes best with some sorak, rice, some fried fish, some dried fish, masala coated like dry bombil, fried with some rechard, and this at the side. Oh, it's sure bliss. And all these pickle recipes that I'm showing you, we generally make it in the summer and then use it all the way, in the monsoons also, when fish is not that easily available, and or you're really bored to go to the fish market and buy the fish. So this is like a substitute. These pickles like prawn balchao that I've uploaded recently, and all these mango pickles. So today also is one of those lovely pickle recipes with no oil and really delicious. So let's just jump straight ahead into today's recipe. The mangoes, the red chilies, and the asafoetida or hing all done up together and nicely mixed up together, and put this heavy weight. So the small lid will press down on the mangoes, and I've covered it with a muslin cloth, and we're going to keep it in a nice dark place, not in a cool place, in a dark place in the anywhere in your house where it is going to be nice and cozy and dark. Keep it over there. And now we're going to keep this for 3 days, but every day after 24 hours we're going to open it up, we're going to sprinkle some more salt, toss the mangoes a little bit, and again cover it and keep it the same way. So this is day 1. I'll see you on day 2. So guys, today is day 2, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix up the salt and the mangoes, the chilies, just with my hand once, and then add a little salt if I feel that I need to add a little bit more of salt. And then again we're going to put the plate down on the mangoes, put the heavy weight, cover it with the cloth, and again keep it for another 24 hours. Here. So today is day 3, and I'll show you that when I open up the mangoes, you will find that the salt has become really thick. Like when you go to the beach and the sand which is much nearer to the water, it's thick. So when you pick it up, you can make a real, hold it in your hands. That's what the sand consistency. So we are nearing to that particular stage where we want, the pickle to be. And you will see that the mangoes also have really softened up. Some of them have even changed to a little bit of an olive green color. That's what we're looking for. We want it to go from the dark green to an olive green color, and the mangoes have to be really soft Like you will see, that will happen mostly on day 4 or day 5, and the salt will completely change into brine or water, and we are going to use that brine too. So I'll just show you what I do on day 3. Today is day 4 of our lovely mango pickle in brine, and today when you see that most of the mangoes have become an olive green color, and the salt has completely changed its consistency. If you hold it in your hand and press it, you actually get water coming out of the salt. So I'll show you that process, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix everything again really well, again press it down with a plate and the heavy weights, cover it a cloth, and keep it aside in that place in my kitchen. And I guess by tomorrow we'll see that all the salt has changed into water, and then we'll continue with the process. So let me show you what happens on day 4. Now, one thing I forgot to mention it to you all is that this pickle needs to be made in the summer. Of course, raw mangoes are now available most of the time, but from the month of March onwards, this is when the heat really is at its peak. Till May, you can make all these pickles and preserve them for the monsoons. What you require is a lot of heat, so keep that in mind. But if it's in rainy weather, you won't get that consistency, so it has to be really hot, and you have to follow the process, and maybe it will take 4 days, maybe 5 days, maybe 6 days, depending upon the heat and the humidity, the heat in the area that you stay, and other things like the salt, the mangoes, everything. So that's what I wanted to just share with you. So let's see what happens on day 4. Day 5. Let's see what's happening with the mangoes. see how it looks and how it tastes. So I'm going to take a small bit of the ripened one. It's amazing. It's nice and soft, and it's got all the flavors of that hinga. It's mind blowing. This takes me back to my childhood when my grandmom used to make this. It's just amazing. So have this with some dried fish, some rice, some sorak, and enjoy yourself. So if you like today's recipe, you know what to do. Give this video a big thumbs up by clicking on the thumbs up icon. Give it a big like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Go and check out all my other recipes. It's heaven. Anyway, so I put a list of all my other recipes down in the description box below. All my other Goan recipes, pickles, in the comments section as well as the description section. Just go and click on them. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you soon in another video. This is Akshata signing off. Bye. Today's lovely Goan brinjal pickle. So now here I've taken one medium-sized brinjal, washed it really well, wiped it dry, and I've cut off the tip of it, and I'm going to cut it lengthwise into half and then again into smaller pieces like this, and then we're going to cube it into medium-sized pieces. We don't want very small pieces, but medium-sized pieces like this. Now I've taken a colander and I've placed a plate below it, and I'm just going to put all the cubes into that colander. Now this is my Nana's recipe, and she used to make it, always in the summertime or just before the monsoons. And you could call this an instant pickle because you could have it the same day. Of course, it matures with age and it tastes even better as you keep it longer. And it has a long shelf life also. So now that I've cut up all of the cubes, I'm just going to sprinkle about 2 tablespoons of salt. Now keep a plate below the colander. And you'll see that we're going to keep it aside for 8 hours, and you'll see that water collects. Keep discarding the water that collects, down this on the plate. And after 8 hours, we're just going to squeeze out all the water. So just squeeze out all the water as much as you can. You can also tie it up into a muslin cloth and then, squeeze it out, because let me caution you, this brinjal, depends, you do get a little bit of itchiness in your hands. So what I did is I just applied a little bit of oil on my hands before I started to squeeze out the water, because I do get a little bit of itchiness. So to avoid that, put a little bit of oil on the palm of your hands. So now we're going to go to the masala paste ingredients that we need for this lovely pickle. So here I have an inch of ginger, 8 cloves of garlic, about a tablespoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of turmeric, about 7 dried red chilies, and half a cup of vinegar. Now I like grinding this masala on my masala stone, because then you don't use any kind of water and it's completely only with vinegar. But you can grind this in your mixer grinder too. But I like to grind it on the masala stone. It just it just reminds me of my childhood, because I used to do this whenever my grandmom used to make the pickle. She used to always ask me to grind the masala, and I love doing this. So you can grind it on your mixer grinder too, but we're not going to use even a drop of water for this pickle. So ensure that your mixer grinder is nice and dry, and you only add vinegar. That way the shelf life of your pickle will also last long. So now we have our masala paste nice and ready and fine. It should be really fine. All the chili should be ground well. So just take it out in a bowl or a plate. So now here we have our brinjal with, we've taken out all the water. This is our masala paste. Now besides that, we require just a few ingredients. So here I've taken about 5 large cloves of garlic and I've chopped them really fine. These are about 7 to 8 or maybe more, few curry leaves. This is about half a cup of jaggery, but you can, adjust it as per your taste. And this is about half a tablespoon of Kashmiri chili powder and some salt to taste. Now here I've taken about 1.5 cup of oil in a pan. You do require a little more than, you require oil for this recipe. So now we're going to add the brinjal. See that your oil is nice and hot and we're going to cook on a low to medium flame. Now we're going to add our brinjal and we're going to fry the brinjal for at least a whole 2 minutes till the brinjal is nice and fried. So you'll get this kind of a brownish tinge to the brinjal. But this is also very important if you want a nice long shelf life for the pickle. Now once it's done, drain out all the excess oil and put them on a kitchen napkin so that it absorbs all the excess oil. Now to the same oil I'm going to add the chopped up garlic. Fry the garlic also for a minute till it turns into a little light brown color. Next we're going to add the curry leaves. Now try to use fresh curry leaves for that lovely extra beautiful flavor for the pickle. Now I'm going to add this ground masala paste. And now mix it really nicely into the oil. And then, you'll come to know that it's nicely fried because you'll get the aroma of the beautiful spices that we've added and the vinegar especially. You'll get the lovely smell or the aroma rather of the vinegar. Now I'm going to add this Kashmiri chili powder. This is just added for color, so that you get that nice rich color to the pickle. And now I'm going to add the brinjal that we fried. Mix everything in really nicely. And now we're going to add the jaggery. Now you can add it as per your taste. I'm going with half a cup, but then after mixing up everything and cooking it for about half a minute, you can just do a taste test to see whether you need to add salt, whether you need to add jaggery, whether you need to add a little more of maybe chili powder if you want it a little spicy. So do a taste test. Now I am adding a little bit of salt to taste. And now we're just going to mix everything really well. And I'm just going to cook this mixture on a low to medium flame for about 2 minutes at least. And then we're going to turn off the heat completely and we're going to let the mixture cool completely. Only once the mixture is completely cool, transfer it to a nice, dry and clean glass bottle. And our brinjal pickle is ready. You can have it on the same day. It does taste delicious, but the longer you keep it, it matures and tastes even better. So I hope you like this recipe and I hope you do give it a try. Do let me know in the comment section below how you like it. I'll catch you in my next video. So friends, today's lovely Goan balchao recipe is one of my mom's recipes, and I always refer to her cooking books, and she has such an array of recipes. So today we're going to make this beautiful and delicious prawn balchao. So let's get started. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to show you how to devein prawns. I've got many requests from the beginners as to Akshata, how do we devein prawns? Can you make a video? So I am going to include that at the end of this video. So let's start with today's lovely balchao recipe. And it has a few ingredients, guys. So let's go through the ingredients. Now here I have prawns that I've deveined and I've washed them really well. It's very important to clean prawns really well and devein them. So here I have about half a cup of deveined prawns. I have 2 medium onions which I've chopped really fine. These are about 7 Kashmiri red chilies, 2 light green chilies which I've slit and then cut them into half, about 7 to 8 curry leaves. Now curry leaves are optional, but I love the flavor of curry leaves in this balchao. Half an inch of ginger and 10 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 6 teaspoons of vinegar. Now you can use white vinegar, you can use the Goa vinegar, salt to taste, Here I have 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds and half a teaspoon each of peppercorns and turmeric powder, which is also called haldi. So these are the only ingredients we're going to be requiring. So first I'm going to just take my mixer jar and I'm going to break the red chilies, take off the tip of the red chilies, or the stalk rather, and I'm just going to put the red chilies into my mixer jar. Now, it's also a good thing that you wash your Kashmiri chilies or dried red chilies, wipe them dry, and then add them to the mixer jar. Now, I'm going to add my cumin and peppercorns to the mixer jar. Now, you can add your turmeric powder at this point too, but I don't like to add the turmeric or the haldi powder to my mixer jar because that discolors the lid of the mixer. So I always add the haldi powder or the turmeric at the end after the paste is done. Now I'm going to add my garlic, and I'm just going to chop the ginger up into finer pieces or smaller pieces. That makes it, easy to grind. And then I'm going to add only half the quantity of the vinegar, grind it to a little coarse paste. And once the coarse paste is done, I'm going to add the remaining vinegar and grind it to a very smooth paste. So this is the consistency we're looking for. It's a thick, yet it's a smooth paste. So you see that all the chili flakes and everything is nicely ground. So now at this point, I've transferred it to a small bowl and I'm adding the turmeric powder in now, and I am going to mix the turmeric powder into the paste really well. So this this tip I've carried on from my dad. He used to always tell me never add haldi into your mixer pot because it becomes all yellow and doesn't even, the lid looks really, yellow and not really nice to look at. So I follow that tip even till today. Okay, so now I've taken a pan and I'm just going to heat my pan up, and now I'm going to add 3/4 cup of oil. Now because this is a pickle and we want the shelf life to be longer, so we're going to add a little extra oil, and also when there's not going to be a drop of water in this recipe. That's why I said when you're washing your dried chilies, ensure that you wipe them completely dry before adding them to the mixer pot. So once my oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add the onions and I'm going to fry the onions really, really well. So take your time with this recipe. See that the onions are nicely fried and they should, turn into a translucent color, or they should turn translucent rather. So just fry them for about a whole minute or so till they start to look like this. Now once the onions are done, we're going to throw in the chilies and slit the chilies up. That way the flavor of the chilies, it enhances the flavor, and you actually get the flavor of the chilies in this balchao, which is very important. So slit the chilies, break them up into half, and then fry the chilies also very well. So now I'm going to add my fresh curry leaves. Fry the curry leaves. Like I said, the curry leaves are completely optional, but I love adding them because they really just elevate the taste of this dish. So you can add them or you can skip it. It's all your choice. But I like the flavor of these curry leaves in this balchao, and my mom's recipe says to add it, so I am going to add it. So now I'm going to add my ground paste. Like you can see, it's a thick paste. There's no water. It's not watery. There's not extra vinegar because we don't want it to be very sour. So 6 teaspoons is just enough. And now the most important part is to fry the masala or the paste that we ground really, really well. So you'll get this beautiful dark red color. Now we're going to add salt to taste. Always go with a little less salt initially and then add it later. So now I'm going to add the sugar because we've added vinegar. So, sugar kind of balances the taste of the dish. And now before you add the prawns, just taste this. Take a little bit of it and let it cool down, and then taste it to see whether you need to add any more salt, whether you need to add more sugar, vinegar. So do a taste test, and only after that you add the prawns. Now mix the prawns in well. Be gentle so that they don't break, but ensure that the prawns are nicely cooked in this masala. So, continuously stir and let the prawns get nicely cooked. You cannot have raw prawns in this, so cook it very well. And of course, the heat of the masala will cook the prawns. Prawns don't take a lot of time to cook. So just keep stirring for about 2 to 3 minutes and fry everything really, really well. So this balchao, for those of you who don't know what balchao is, it's a pickle made with prawns and this masala paste. And it's just like any other pickle, you can store it in a nice clean jar like I'll show you. And it has a very long shelf life. So now I'm just checking to see whether the prawn is done, and it is done. So now all we have to do is just cook it or uncovered for another 5 minutes. So this is a pickle kind of a dish, a balchao, a spicy pickle, and it really goes well with any meal. And especially in the monsoons, when fish is not that easily available, people used to make this, especially in the olden days, and keep it as so they have some kind of fish available to eat at the house. Same with dried fish, etc. So our prawn balchao is ready. Now let it cool completely, and you have to have the oil element because that is a preservative, and it keeps the shelf life longer. You don't need to refrigerate it immediately. Maybe after a day or two you can put it in your refrigerator. So I put it in a clean dry jar, and always ensure that the oil is always above the rest of the the whole balchao. And yeah, that's it. So now for those of you who want to see how to devein prawns, so here I got about, I don't know, maybe half a kilo of prawns. I used it to make some prawn pulao, and we made some prawn curry, Goan prawn curry. All recipes are there on my channel. I'll leave the links below. So now what you do is you wash the prawn. Now you take a very sharp knife and you just cut it at the back of the prawn like this completely. And then you will see that there's a kind of a vein which has, it's basically the intestine of the prawn. And that is very important that you take it all off. So, all the black stuff, sometimes it comes out in parts. Sometimes you can pull out the whole thread, as you'll see. And then wash it really well, after you cut it up, and keep it in a dry plate. That's what I just did. I got a plate just behind my camera stand and I'm putting it over there. So take a sharp knife, cut it all the way through, right up to the end, and then just pull out that vein. So sometimes you'll see it comes all together into one shot, or sometimes it just breaks up. So you ensure that the entire thing is removed. But it's very important that you devein prawns and wash prawns really well before you use them for any recipe. Otherwise, you'll end up with a very bad tummy ache and other fiascos. So better to be safe and always do this. So take your time, with the prawns, and clean them really, really well. Also, when you're buying prawns, when the prawns are really nice and fresh, you will not get any bad odor from the prawns. Plus, they should be nice and firm. They shouldn't look limpy. They should be very, very firm. So, if you take into account all these things when you're buying prawns, they don't have any kind of stench. They should be really fresh, and they should look nice and fresh and firm. So some of them did come out in one shot, like one entire vein or intestine came out together, or sometimes they came out in parts. But the main thing is ensure that they are all nice and clean. So that day we had this lovely prawn balchao. Then I made sorak. Then we had surmai fry, which is my favorite, and some lovely rice. So it was a real good meal. So I thought I'd share this prawn balchao recipe with you, so you all can make it. Okay, so here you can see that it almost came out in one go. And then just wash it under running water and keep it aside in a dry plate. And then after that, ensure that all the water of the prawns come away. So always keep your plate in which you keep the prawns on a little slant so that all the water goes away.